Welcome into United Sessions. I am David Wiese-Carl, joined by my co-host on this very happy Valentine's Day. It is not Lukas Cash. It is Chanel Wiese-Carl. Hi.
Hi.
Thanks for joining us.
Well, the way I got to hang out with you on Valentine's Day.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, Lukas is very rightfully so spending time with his wonderful wife, Punzi, who we love very much. Even producer Jay Scribe out today. He is simply hanging out with his partner as well. So we thought, yeah, we could just stay home and do Valentine's Day stuff, but we didn't want to let the people down. So we thought, let's just do you and I.
I mean, this is pretty much what we would be doing anyway.
We would be talking. It would be on the couch. Hi,
the
Cassandra.
dogs would be here.
What's that?
The dogs would be
The
there.
dogs would be here.
That would be a help.
Yes, that would not be good for podcasting, though. I don't think that they would do very well in this environment. But yeah, excited to have a Valentine's Day special with you all. We're going to talk a little bit about love and sport. We're going to talk a little bit about things going on in the United world right now. There's a lot going on as we get ready for the season. Lukas says the show has vastly improved. Lukas, just because you made that comment is why it has vastly improved. But lots of stuff to talk about today, again, on this Valentine's Day. We hope you and yours are having a great time. And if you're solo, hope you're having a great time. And thank you for hanging out with us here on this Valentine's Day.
I have to shout out your sweatshirt. It's so perfect for the occasion.
I mean, look at you.
Yeah,
well, this is an audio medium podcast. I'm wearing the Love crew neck sweater, and Chanel is wearing, how would you describe it?
It's a pink button-up polo, but it's splattered with hearts.
Yep.
Sort of like a Valentine's Day wrapping paper motif.
It's good.
Yeah.
I like it. So we want to start off before we get into kind of the conversation about love and sport a little bit with kind of some goings on around the United world. Preseason well underway right now. United have played 2 matches so far over there in Tucson. First one was against Lou City, reigning Eastern Conference champions, where they drew 2-2. Looked really good. I was out there for that one. Fortunate enough to be there for that. Saw a couple goals in that. And then more recently, this past Sunday, Super Bowl Sunday, United beats Detroit City by a 3-1 score. Really great there. A half mid-pitch goal from Daniel Bruce, about 60 yards away. And then up next this Wednesday, so tomorrow, for you watching on the live stream, Chanel looks like a candy heart, says Roxanne. Happy first Valentine's Day as husband and wife to you two lovebirds. That's us. That's adorable. Thank you, Roxanne. But now up next, Chicago Fire tomorrow. If you're listening to the live stream here, if you're listening to the pod, which we hope to put out on Wednesday today, it will be when it airs, when that game happens, and we'll have some live tweets for you there as well.
So you traveled out with the team, correct?
I did. Yes.
You did all that. Thank you. What was it like? Like, what do we not see? On Twitter or just like in the games, how is the team looking? How are they gelling?
Yeah, gelling's a good way to bring that up, actually. So I've had the fortune of seeing, preseason matches as a fan over all the years of United, and then in the more recent years been able to see a little bit behind the scenes as preseason gets underway. I don't think I've seen in the 5 years of the club the guys gel quite so quickly as they have this time, which is really great. That's on the pitch, that's off the pitch. I think it helps that we do have a lot of continuity in the locker room from year over year. We didn't have a ton of turnover. We certainly had some, but not a ton. So a lot of the guys know each other, but even the new guys like Greg Hurst, guys like Josh Doling, we have some trialists out there, the academy contract guys out there, guys like, Miles Merritt, Alex Wagner, Andres Robles, all seem to be gelling really well and really quickly. And that's a good sign. I wasn't out there in San Diego last year when they all went out there for preseason, but I did get to see them in Tucson the year before, and obviously got to see preseason matches in all these years. And it does seem like they are gelling, to use your term, really quickly, which is a good sign.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Is the bus ride like quiet, or do they?
I actually rode with hey Bob. Bob says team looks great. Steven says wishes for a happy United Valentine's Day. Have a great couple session. Thank you for tuning in. Somos Unidos from Elise Kilbane Perez Alford. Hello everybody. Hope you're all doing well. So I actually rode out in the van with James Salazar, one of our regular listeners here on United Sessions. I'm sure he's probably busy out there still in Tucson. But rode out in the van with James. We had some equipment in the back there. So I wasn't on the bus. Isaiah was on the bus with the boys. So that's probably a better question for him, but he's not on the pod right now. But yeah, it was a good ride out there. James and I talked about everything and anything. Had a great time.
Another United couple
That's right. James and
James and
Tori
Tori.
recently engaged. Congratulations to you too. I don't know if either of you are watching right now. I know you, again, 2 of our regular listeners / watchers. Congrats to those 2. We love both of them. Looking forward to that wedding. Happy Valentine's Day, Bob New Chow, to you as well. But yeah, it was a great trip out there. I flew back yesterday, and back at work today.
So this isn't on our list, but I just thought of asking you. You were at the Super Bowl.
I was, yes. We
So
don't need to talk about that.
no, but what did you see as far as like the sports industry right now?
Oh
like,
my
how
God.
much of the time were you spending looking around and saying like, oh, we could do that?
Every time I find myself going to a sporting event now, I find myself doing that more than I ever
Yeah, me
did.
too.
So previously, I would go to a sporting event and go and enjoy the game. And I do that still, but that's my primary focus. I'll go, I'll get a beer, I'll get some food, I'll watch the game, and all of that's really fun. Now, when I go to a sporting event, and particularly the Super Bowl, which is one of the biggest sporting events in the world, I'm going there and I'm taking photos, and I'm taking photos of the merchandise stuff, and I'm sending it to Joe, who heads up our merch, Joe Karras. Shout out to Joe Karras. Hi, Mom. Mom says this is awesome. Leroy, I'm going to get to your question here in a minute. It's a good one. We're going to get to it in just a sec. Hi, Leroy, as well. But no, so I'm taking photos of merch stuff and I'm sending it to Joe. And I'm taking photos of like their tailgate setup. And I'm sending it around to Pete and Ron and all of our people over here. And they have this really awesome thing over in Phoenix at the Cardinal Stadium. It's called the Great Lawn. And it is exactly what it sounds like. It's a giant lawn where everybody goes and tailgates. And what they do, and something I think would be so cool to do when we eventually get our stadium, is like they have live music, so stages and stuff like that. They have places for people to, play cornhole or horseshoes or bocce ball or whatever. They have vendors out there selling drinks, beer and wine and soft drinks and all that kind of stuff, and food vendors and all that. And then they have like a cordoned off VIP section. So if people want to go pay a bunch of money and have their own section and do their own thing, they can do that too. But the music brings everybody together. It's really, really cool. Again, there's all stuff to do for kids and all that kind of stuff, but everybody's kind of surrounding the music. And I would love, again, this is just me, having a dream here, when we get our stadium, for there to be some sort of like an amphitheater outside. So before the game, we could have a concert, and I love that kind of stuff. And I think about our stadium all the time. But, again, it's not just that, right? You're in the stadium and you're taking pictures of, they have the suites section up there, and they use, they scan a barcode on their phone to get into the suites. Like, could we do something like that? I don't know. I don't know what our budget's going to look like for stadium. It's probably not going to be as big as the Arizona Cardinals had on theirs, but it was really, really cool. A great experience. Really most excited that I got to experience it with my stepdad, who is a lifelong Eagles fan, like me. Wasn't the result we wanted, but it was amazing to do that with him. It was really cool.
That's so cool. And when you're describing that great lawn, it's like, imagine all of the local New Mexican stuff, just, filling a space like that. And it's good to go see these different places and, at least adopt the spirit of it. Like that spirit of bringing everybody together in a safe and fun place.
Every time I go to a game, I was like, what can I steal here and turn it into what we can, how can we make it New Mexican, right? Local food, local vendors, local people, local artists, and make it New Mexican. And just as important, New Mexico United, right? Add that local art as well, which is so crucial for us. Mom says, come to a crew game. I would love to go to a crew game.
Yeah, we're going to have to set that up.
Leroy wants to know how married life is treating us.
Oh, it's just wonderful.
That sounded really sarcastic.
It is. No, I every day, like, it's kind of like what we were doing before.
I don't think it's all that different from pre-married life for us. Honestly, we were already living together with our dogs, and that's what makes us happy, and living a very united lifestyle. And we'll dive into that here in a little bit.
You get to wear a pretty ring.
You get to wear a pretty ring. I like my ring as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, Leroy, to answer your question, I don't think it's all that different for us. It's great. We love it, but I don't think it's all that different.
We do talk a lot more about the future.
Finances.
Talk a lot more about
that's exciting.
And just long-term things. We're really thinking about buying a house and
this is the content people tune in for.
Yeah.
Talking about buying a house.
It is, though, because it's about doing life together, and it's so cool that we get to do this together. This big movement, this idea. When you say you were like dreaming about the stadiums, having a soccer team in New Mexico was a dream at one point too.
Yeah,
so
it was.
I mean, there's never going to be another time like this where we're both doing this in this year 5 of New Mexico United, year 4 of the Somos Unidos Foundation. I think it's very cool.
Well, and for us, like, and one of the things that I think we're going to dive into a little bit is our relationship, to kind of go with the motif of Valentine's Day, has been very much centered around, or at least very much included, a lot of United stuff. I mean, we started dating shortly before United existed, little while before United existed, but not that we weren't together that long when United first came around. And then our whole lives, it seems, have been dedicated to United for years and years and years.
Look at all the cool people in our life.
Yeah.
It's
Oh my gosh.
crazy. Like, I can't even imagine.
I can't imagine life without United at this point, just because we've built our friendships and what we do every weekend, and all these, obviously in work, but all these things around the club. And that's the case for so many, maybe not the work part of it, but just your lives, right? And your friends. And I know so many people who I would not have met, and I know you do too. Some of my best friends in the world. RJ was the best man at my wedding. Never would have met him if it wasn't for United. You know,
how would you two have collided?
Exactly. We wouldn't have. He was in Los Alamos,
Yeah.
you know? So there's a million stories like that. People finding love through United. You know, we've had people who got engaged, who didn't know each other prior to United. That has happened. We've seen that a few times. I think of Steve-O Jeter and Aaron Suknot. They are getting ready to tie the knot here later this year. And as far as I know, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure they met through United.
Wow. And Amanda and Brianna as well.
Amanda and Brianna are a great example of that. They met through United, and they are far from the only ones. And
so cool.
Yeah, so we're going to dive into what that looks like. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back with that conversation and more here on United Session. And we're back with segment 2 of United Sessions. I'm David Wiese-Carl, joined by Chanel Wiese-Carl, as we talk through a Valentine's Day special here on United Sessions, talking about love, talking about soccer, talking about much more than that. One of the things we mentioned before the break was how much and how many people have had their lives just kind of, since this club came around 5 years ago, a lot of people's lives have just kind of been surrounded within this club. Again, people finding partners and friends, and building great relationships. The thing I would say more than anything in that time that has taken up your time has been the Somos Seniors Foundation Executive Director. What's going on with the foundation right now?
Yeah, well, and it's really, when we see that the shield means so much to people, and a lot of adults have the language to tell us that. I mean, it's very often that we run into people that talk about, if they're from New Mexico, just the pride point that they have, and the joy that it is to see something like United bringing people together and, showing them what's possible in their home state. I know I certainly feel that way. It's the way, people come together and meet each other and start businesses and ventures and marriages and all those things. And so at the foundation, with our community engagement efforts, I think of it as like, if you're going to see a sticker on every 5th car, or a magnet, right?
Yeah.
And we're aware of that as we're driving. There's kids in car seats and stuff in the back seat who are looking out and seeing that same thing.
And that's just normal to them.
Yeah. But when they see that, to think like, hey, somebody from my school came and they were wearing that, and they told me I could do whatever I wanted, or, I'm part of that.
Love that.
I've been to a game. I sat in the community corner. So that's like the big umbrella idea of it. And of course there's, ways that we programmatically have to double down on those things. This year, a lot of our initiatives are expanding on that idea that soccer is for everyone. And we've, obviously, by fully funding the academy, that's one iteration of our belief in that. The diversity fellowship program, the way to bring adults into the game, in their careers. And so we're looking at, through community clinics and through other outreach efforts, how do we make soccer adaptive to people who might not normally have had access? So, stay tuned for more on that.
There's a little teaser.
Yeah.
Chanel leaks. I like that.
Totally.
But there's plenty going on with the foundation at all times. That includes the off season. You guys don't really get, I say you guys as if we at the club don't actively participate in this stuff, because we definitely do. But there's not an off season for you guys. You're constantly going. There's clinics all the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we plan our year around the inflection points that we know we need to hit and the people that we want to serve. And that's our first calendar. So, just a little peek behind the curtain. If anybody thinks it's interesting, the blank calendar goes in and we list all the people we want to serve. And we kind of look at maybe some obvious highlights, like certain months are, more important to be part of larger efforts that people are doing.
Yeah.
And then, by the time we're having that conversation, United might not even have its schedule yet, nor does it have theme nights and stuff planned out there. So I think it really speaks to the process and the mindset. The original calendar is created from,
before any of that stuff. Yeah.
And then it's kind of funny to think about saying, but, then the games come in and they just sort of have to fit in and we move things around. Yeah. But one exciting update is we do have a gala date.
Let's go. Have we announced that yet?
No.
Okay. You're not leaking it. Okay, good.
But think about around the same month at least,
Okay, so September, great.
Yeah, September's a beautiful time to have an event, as you know.
Chanel almost leaks. Got it. Perfect.
I try to have some restraint,
As the comms guy, I appreciate that.
Yeah. And then our bread and butter, the thing that we're the best at is providing an elite level training and competition program with the academy.
Yeah.
Completely free to, the players there and their families, really stepping in front of the families saying, hey, we got this. And then also trying to think about, while these young men are with us, how do we make sure that we're part of them being successful at the long term? Mm-hmm. So we've got mental health coaching, that we're investing more in this year.
Yeah.
We've got an academic advisor to make sure they've got, their best future mapped out ahead of them just while they're playing with us. It's not just soccer.
It's just access. It's access to so much more than the game, which is it's just the most important thing. Wanted to dive into kind of the meat and potatoes now of what we've got going on in the episode today. So, as always, we will play a silly stupid game at the end of the episode. Now, normally that is Lukas Cash's job. He's got lots of jobs when it comes to the podcast, but that's one of his jobs, and he's very good at it, is putting together a silly stupid game. I often do guests. Lukas often does silly stupid games. Lukas is, again, very rightfully so, spending time with wonderful Punzi this evening. So, Chanel, it has been incumbent upon you to come up with a silly stupid game, which we will get to at the end of the episode. So stick around.
I tried to make it as silly and stupid to live up to, what Lukas Cash would want.
Perfect. Yeah. It was in his
and you're
wishes.
Also like the victim. I mean, the guest.
Victim. Okay, great. Looking forward to that. But in the meantime, like I said, we're going to talk through a little bit of kind of our journey through sport, love and sport. And I think one of the things that I want to touch on in particular is, this holiday, Valentine's Day, about love, right? That's the whole thing, is focus on love. I always call it a Hallmark holiday, all that kind of stuff, and fabricated to make companies money and all of that. And you and I have had disagreements on kind of the value of the holiday as a whole, but you don't need an excuse to celebrate love, and love comes in many different forms, right? We're talking, you and I, about like a romantic partner love, but we talk a lot on this podcast about the love of this club and this community. And that's a lot of what the foundation does, but every single person tuning in, either via live stream or via podcast, has been impacted by this club in some sort of loving way, I would like to think. And I think that's really, really great. So take us back. We're going backwards here for us. A lot of our relationship was started through sport, really.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I remember, so we met summer of 2018, and so there's probably 3 to 4 months maybe of just a ton of Isotopes games.
Yeah, we went to a lot of Topes games. Yeah.
So we got very familiar with Isotopes Park. Never knew, what we would be.
We'd be working there like 17 weekends a year. Yeah.
Yeah, till midnight. And then we bonded really quickly over NFL too. So we spent a lot of Sundays just posted up at a sports bar or on the couch.
And for those who don't know, Chanel is a diehard Saints fan, and I am a diehard Eagles fan.
Yeah. So I remember, going to New Orleans for the first time.
That was pretty early in our relationship.
It was too early for a game like that.
Too early for us to be going to a game where our teams are playing against each other.
Yeah. And it was a little early for the Saints to beat the Eagles 41-7. That was kind of rough.
Moving on.
Yeah.
Yep. In New Orleans, no less. And it's funny. So, all right, I'm gonna add a little caveat to that. So people sports fans like to talk about how Eagles fans are the worst, or Eagles fans are obnoxious, or Eagles fans are horrible. We have, you and I, gone to 3 Eagles Saints games, which is kind of crazy that those teams have played each other 3 times in the 5 years we've been together. Twice in Philly, once in New Orleans.
Mm-hmm.
The first game in New Orleans, the Saints beat the ever-loving crap out of the Eagles, 41-7, like you said.
I was uncomfortable. That's how bad it was.
I was also uncomfortable.
Yes.
So as we're leaving the game, again, a blowout in favor of the Saints. I'm not thrilled about that, but I was like, we're in New Orleans. We're having a good time, whatever. We're leaving the game. People, Saints fans, keep getting in my face and are like, cursing at me like, you suck, and saying way worse than that. And I'm not going to reply to that. I'm just going to we keep walking. We keep making our way through the crowds. And they were mean, and that's fine. As an Eagles fan, I get it. No big deal. I'm just going to keep moving on. I'm not going to address it. Chanel, you have come to 2 Eagles Saints games in Philadelphia, one where you lost and one where you won. Mm-hmm. Neither time. And we were sitting in the upper deck where all the loonies are supposed to hang out. And we were
taking public transportation.
Yeah, we were. We took the train. Neither time has anyone bothered you.
No.
So take that, everybody who hates on Philadelphia sports fans.
Yeah.
That's the whole story. Eagles fans are great. They're great.
They're passionate.
We are passionate, but we're respectful.
I mean, they boo Santa.
Well, we threw snowballs at Santa and he deserved it. There's a whole story behind that. But we're not going to tell it on this podcast.
Yeah, and it was right around that time. I mean, that was obviously fall. I don't remember what month we went, but I was looking
probably like October.
Yeah. I was looking at some photos the other day and I realized during that game you were already wearing a United zip up.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
And
that was before the team had ever played a game.
Right. That was months prior. So you were already, I remember I have some faint memories of, you going to a meeting, I think with Andrew Bolte and 3 other people who checked yes on the form. So basically, for those who don't know, in the very beginning, I think through the Soul or through Ron or something like that, you found out there was going to be a team.
Yeah. I mean, there had been rumblings about a pro team coming forever. And I was already a fan of the Soul, Albuquerque Soul, shout out Sandinistas. But I would go to those games all the time over at St. Pius. And there had always been rumblings that we would get a USL Championship club, that there would be a pro team that would be eventually coming here. And then the team was announced. The day after they were announced, I met up. They had kind of a meetup at a local restaurant. And I went there and met with Lukas and Pete and Ron for the first time. I'd met Ron before through the Soul, but didn't really know him very well. But Lukas and Pete were there. I met them for the first time and checked yes on a box that I was interested in being part of a supporters group. Lukas put those of us who checked a box on an email thread, got us all together, and we met at a Steelbender Brewery a little bit later, maybe like the next week, the 4 or 5 of us, and the curse was born in that brewery, which is pretty cool.
That's so cool.
But I remember telling you that I was going to do this, and it was to somebody who's never heard of a supporters group. You've never been to a soccer game.
Never watched 90 minutes, not even 45 minutes of soccer.
Explaining that to somebody who's never heard of it, I can't imagine what you were thinking when I was saying, you're basically probably like, you're going to be a cheerleader?
Like a fan club?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, for something that doesn't exist.
Right, exactly. How do you know you're going to like it?
Yeah, I mean, I live right by St. Pius. I mean, so do you now.
Yeah.
We live together.
Yes. Thanks for giving out our location to everybody.
So I had seen, the Soul and things like that before, but I didn't understand the difference between professional.
Well, you had seen, you had known that I would just walk over to St. Pius for the games, and you're like, okay, he likes soccer a lot.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I imagine it's sort of, just what I'm sure partners have different hobbies all the time. And
sure,
I'm sure a lot of people don't think through the entire, like, how well did he golf today? It's just, he's just gone for 8 hours. So, pro tip, get yourself a hobby that takes 8 hours, right?
Yeah.
To be outside. Soccer takes about 90, but
90 hours. Yep.
So you made me lose my train of thought. Oh, and so who knows what I was doing the whole time you were really doing that. You would kind of come give me updates, and I'd smile and nod and say, good for you and your special friends that are new.
Special friends. Well, the thing
Andrew is a very special friend.
Oh, I love Andrew. But the thing is, going to the Soul games, Andrew and I didn't hang out then.
Yeah.
So
that's
Andrew
crazy.
and the Sandinistas, the OGs, were behind the goal, where a supporters group often goes. I would sit by myself up in the stands for those games. It's just me.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, I'd chat with somebody nearby in the stands, but I didn't go with anybody. I didn't meet up with anybody there. I would just went by myself and went as a kind of a solo fan, and I'd cheer on the team and had a great time. And then I went home. That was it. I was not a supporter proper in that sense. When you think of supporter, with drums and smoke bombs on stuff, they had their drums, they had their smoke bombs behind the goal, and I just kind of sat
You
over
had a
in the
couple
stands.
of kits I've
Yeah,
seen.
I've got several soul kits and soul scarves from the
Yeah.
years, and like I said, I loved going
You're
to
a
the
fan.
games. I rarely missed the soul game, and then in the final year, I went to the Albuquerque FC, the women's team, and they were unbelievable. They were so much fun, those games, and they would outdraw the men's team, and they were absolutely phenomenal in their final season. I mean, they almost went undefeated through the whole year. They were great. It was a shame to see them go by the wayside, that team go by the wayside. But yeah, so again, that was kind of your intro to my interest in soccer, I suppose.
Yeah. Well, and then another thing that has become more of a staple of our lives now, soccer related too, that wasn't really as much of a thing back then, was visiting other like Arsenal supporter group bars when we
Yes.
travel. I mean, that's been very cool. We've done San Diego, we've done
Phoenix, we've done Columbus, we've done
Philadelphia.
Philly. Yeah, we've gone. So I think everybody who listens knows I'm a big old Arsenal fan and have been for a very long time. So yeah, Arsenal America has these branches throughout the entire country. You go to the website, you look up, I'm traveling to, I don't know, New Orleans, and is there an Arsenal supporters group here? Oh, it turns out they are. This is their bar. Oh, they're playing on Saturday. Let's go. We go in the morning, and that's been a lot of fun too, and that's been kind of an intro to you to a different part of the game, right? The European or international fandom here in the States.
Yeah, it was super cool. And that's something this year too. I want to explain to young people more. We're going to use some of your scarves from years past and different supporters groups and different, Arsenal club supporters and things like that to show how national and how global the game is.
Yeah.
And that, I think there's something really positive for youth to know that there's a bunch of adults out there who are enthusiastic about something.
You got to be,
that's
it's brave to be, what was it?
Enthusiasm is social courage.
There it is. Love
and,
that.
there's I don't want to get too like deep about it, but there is like a vulnerability in that, being shoulder to shoulder with somebody, putting your hopes into an outcome and kind of share, like having this mutual exchange of
It's like a wager. Honestly, it's like a bet on your own, like, not mental health. That's not the right way, although it does seem that way sometimes. But no, it's like a bet on your own hopes.
Yeah.
And you're sharing in that bet. It's a community bet with the person to your left and to your right. So I like that a lot.
And you're leaning in together and you're gasping together and you're
cursing out the referee together.
I wasn't going to say that, but absolutely. You're usually the one leading
That's
that.
usually me, yeah.
So yeah, I mean, how do we share that more with kids too? We've kind of had some beginning conversations with, especially after ISC, RJ Montano had a really cool idea of doing like a kids TIFO, like supporters.
Well, we've got
camp.
I love all of that. But yeah, and that's the thing, right? Taking these clinics and making them more than about soccer. And that's something the foundation's done as well. With every time there's a clinic now, you have a reading nook and an arts and crafts section. And I love what you say, and I'm going to get it wrong probably, but every kid is an artist, a genius, and an athlete. Is that right?
Got it.
Let's go. I love that. And that can also include every kid can be a fan if they want to be. And so, yeah, we've had the Cursitos for a couple of years now, and they have inspired other supporters groups to start their own branches of kid-based supporters groups, which I think is just so cool. So being a fan's for everybody. Yeah. And I love that.
Well, and everybody has something to offer. And we see that, through your time, which we haven't even gotten to 2019 in our chronology yet, but, seeing how different people rise to different occasions when it comes to painting a TIFO. I'll never forget that very first TIFO that you all made in the convention center. And, audience, they did not have the proper materials.
No, we definitely didn't. So when you're making a TIFO, and something we've learned over the course of the years, you want like a thin, light material. We did probably the worst possible thing you could have done when making a tifo, which is we painted on drop cloth, which is
Canvas.
specifically canvas drop cloth, which is specifically designed to absorb paint. That is the point of a drop cloth. That was on me. I didn't think it through clearly, but we spent probably 48 hours just painting that thing.
Heavy.
It's so heavy.
Yeah, but the way that Amanda at that time stepped up and mapped.
Well, she leaned into what she was great at,
yeah,
which is art. She's incredible at art.
And tifos are something that are shared. It's shared from the moment that you gather to complete it together. How many times do we actually get to work on a project as a team too? That's just another one of those like lean in moments.
And not for work, right? Yeah. That's just in your community with fellow people who care about what you care about and just being a team together.
Yeah, and then it's such a gift to the rest of the stadium. It's such a gift to the players.
We're talking about love. We're talking about love right now, right? That is love, right? That's putting your heart and your soul into something that is for everyone, right?
It's
for everyone else.
You don't even get to see it.
You don't, because you're underneath it. That, which is the best feeling in the whole world, by the way. Being underneath the tifo, highly recommended as it goes up.
That's love.
It is, though. It's a community love, right? It's putting your heart and your soul in all those hours and the design work from somebody like Amanda, and the brushstrokes from RJ and Andrew and Billy and Lindsay and Josh and the millions of other people. That's
Cece
an exaggeration.
and
Cece and Ryan, yes, and all these people who put their heart and their love into something that they give as a gift. I love that.
Yeah, and that was something that just to take us through like our United love journey. That I started to see as you got more involved, and I would just kind of coyly or shyly say like, sure, I'll go. And, I might pretend to you that it was a little bit of like but my show is on or whatever. But I always, was really happy to be involved throughout that time. And, we didn't know what it would take. I remember also because I did not want to get to the tailgate lot for those first few games, like very early, the same way that you did.
Yeah.
And it actually served us a couple of times because one time, this is a good problem to have, but you called me in a panic, and I had never really heard you this panicked before. You're like, we're going to run out of Fritos for this Frito pie. And so
that was the first ever tailgate, I'm pretty sure.
Probably.
And
because we didn't know what to expect.
We didn't know how many people we were going to get. And shout out to the Montaños on that one, because they actually rented a camper, an RV for that. So we had like a base of operations to do all this Frito pie, and we got the meat and we got the beans and we got the red chili and we got all the stuff, and we ran out of Fritos pretty quickly.
I mean, I was going to be there like an hour or two later, and you were already calling me in a panic. So this
that was a good sign
between like noon and 2.
Right.
And so I'm Googling restaurant supply stores near me, because you're like, we need Frito pie for like the hundreds now at this point.
We didn't know what to expect.
Yeah.
We thought we might get, our goal at the beginning of the season when we first started the curse, it was a small group of us. Our goal was to get to 50 people. And by the end of the first season, we had 550. Yeah. And that first game was an indication that, oh my gosh, we're going to need to order more scarves. And so we did. I think we ended up doing 3 reorders of scarves that year. But again, it was a lot of work, and a lot of heart went into that. And we were tired. We were exhausted by the end of that first match, but man, it was pretty cool.
Yeah. And I remember going in and not knowing what to expect. And then that was really the first 90 minutes that I watched was March 10th, 2019. And it's just really crazy. There was no, or at least that I was involved with, like preseason or anything.
There was preseason.
I must have stayed on for that.
Actually, one of the first events that Andrew Bolte and I went to was the open tryout in 2019.
Oh my gosh.
And it was me, Andrew, and Whiskey, our dog. And then we just kind of redid the open tryout this past year, which was a lot of fun too.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he loves it. Open tryouts are Whiskey's favorite thing.
He had a good time.
And then speaking of dogs, I think the biggest testament to us not understanding what the 2019 season would be is that we got another puppy the same weekend.
It was literally Olivia, our golden retriever. We adopted her the day before the first match.
Yeah.
That was really stupid.
That was really dumb.
Yeah. I'm glad we did it. I love her very much. But yeah, you're 100% right. That was an indication that we had no idea the amount of effort that was going to be on our plates here very shortly.
Oh, and also, to be fair, we also underestimated the amount of effort it would take to have a puppy.
Yeah, that's also true. That's also true.
Yeah.
But yeah, so a lot in that 2019. I'm we had all the United stuff. Obviously, that's the biggest stuff. But prior to that, we had the Eagles Saints game. We wanted to go through our life in sport together.
yes.
So what else did we have in that time frame? We had Topes prior to
the first time that I went to Columbus.
Yes.
Because so I met your mom and stepdad.
Mhm.
Shout out Gail.
And Mike.
Well,
What about
Gail's
Mike?
watching. You didn't say that Mike was watching.
Mike and Gail usually watch together.
Oh, well, hi, Mike. They came out for the Balloon Fiesta. I do remember that. That was like
Yes.
the first time that I met them. And then we went to Columbus to see them for the first time that winter. And we went to a
Blue Jackets game.
I think on New Year's Eve.
I think that's
or
right.
something
Yeah.
like that.
I think it was New Year's Eve. Yeah.
That was my first hockey game.
Yeah. What'd you think?
It was fun. It's kind of bloody, but cool.
Bloody. Yeah, they fight in that game. It's
Yeah.
very different than soccer.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was a
But-
good time.
I do miss, one thing I do appreciate about going, we've never been to a basketball game together.
We haven't. And I've
But
been
a
to plenty of basketball
game,
games.
Me
Yeah.
too. Go Lobos, right? By the way.
Go Bows.
Awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I miss having a sport where there are some interruptions. I love being in a stadium. I'm a cheese ball when they do the camera pans and they
Well, that's the NFL.
get the
They do that a
kids
lot.
dancing and
NBA,
the
they do it a ton.
games. I like that I see sometimes on TikTok, like at a hockey game, they'll show like a cartoon and then they'll find somebody in the crowd that looks like the
Yes.
cartoon. Like I do like that sort of novelty in my sports, and soccer's just so fast. There's
Have-
no time for it.
Have we gone to a Flyers game together? I'm a Flyers
No.
fan, by the way.
No.
We need to go see
It's
Gritty.
nature.
Yeah.
I know.
Got to go see Gritty.
But yeah, we went to a Pro Bowl.
That was stupid. Don't get me wrong. I know I had a great time. I loved going with your parents. The stadium was incredible. Just the game itself, the
It
Pro Bowl
was.
is stupid.
Yeah.
And I'm glad they changed it this year to do the flag football and all the other stuff. I didn't watch it, but it was a glorified flag football game anyway.
Yeah.
But no, going to Vegas with your parents, I love doing that. But the game itself was just like, man.
And the stadium was cool. So that's where I'm seeing Taylor.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that stadium, when we went there, I was taking photos of like, oh, they do this, they do that. It's really cool.
You were doing that on our honeymoon when we went to the North London Derby.
We did.
We were texting Joe.
Yes.
Joe from merch.
From the Armory.
Shout out shop.newmexicoutd.com.
Yes.
But yeah, you were doing that on our honeymoon.
Yeah, pretty much anytime I go to an event. Did it at the Pro Bowl, did it at the CONCACAF Champions League final up in Seattle and with David Estrada this past year. That was pretty
the
incredible.
Guaranteed Rate Bowl in Cardinal Stadium.
I did a little less of that, the Guaranteed Rate Bowl.
Oh, but one thing that I'm hoping we can get together for this year that all of those things have had and that I've taken many photos of is a 50-50 raffle.
Well, yeah, we're trying to do that this year.
Yeah, there's some hoops to jump through, but it's a lot of fun and it does a lot of good, puts towards a lot of good work.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, that might be a way for fans, if we can get through those hoops and get it off the ground, a way for fans to obviously hopefully win some money, but then in addition to that, contribute to the foundation and feel good about it. So
yeah, totally.
pretty cool.
So I like to, steal ideas like that. A lot of really good community stuff actually at that Guaranteed Rate Bowl. I remember being in Arizona watching all of their community efforts.
That was the piece that I took away from that game more than anything else. So Guaranteed Rate Bowl, college football bowl game, it's one of the worst bowls as far as like quality of teams go. So that's why my alma mater, West Virginia, was in it. And they got their stuff kicked in that game. We're getting a lot of games where my team loses. That happens a lot. I follow teams that lose a lot. The Phillies are the losingest team in the history of sports. But anyway, they did a lot of great community stuff. And again, every time we go to these things, we get to take a little bit back home with us. And how can we make this fun? And how can we make this New Mexican, which we really like?
Yeah.
All right. You want to play a silly stupid game on the other side of the break?
Sure. Is that time?
We're getting pretty close. We're up to 40 minutes here.
Oh, I can't wait for this.
All right. Silly stupid game coming up on the other side of the break. You are listening to United Sessions. We'll be right back. Welcome back into United Sessions, segment 3, season 3, episode 6. Got it.
Wow. Nice.
Silly, stupid game time. Again, typically Lukas Cash's job, something he's very good at. Chanel, there's a high standard for designing a silly, stupid game, which starts with the title of the game, which is. You didn't think of a title, did you? We're off to a great start.
Romeo and Juliet.
That's been taken by a guy named Bill.
Damn.
Yeah. All right. Romeo and Juliet, silly, stupid game time. Do you want me to bring up the slide?
No, not yet.
Okay.
That's part 2.
All right. So you want to explain the rules?
Yes. So part 1.
Which, by the way, I've not been included in any of this, so I don't know what we're doing.
No. And I'm sorry, Lucas, I did not do a pun off of anyone's names today.
You
They
should
went
have.
in a little bit of a different direction. So
I'll do it in the title.
when I think of love, right, I think of poetry and love songs. And there's kind of an intersection of the two.
I'm really going to lose at this.
Which, are how people express their love. So I've come up with a couple of different lines, and you're going to tell me if it was written by Taylor Swift or by William Shakespeare.
Oh, wow. Funny you mentioned that. Okay, so Romeo and Juliet makes sense.
Yeah.
Oh, because it's a title of one of her songs too.
Kind of.
Is it? What's the song? She has a song. Okay, go ahead. That's one of the clues is what you're saying. Got it.
Are you ready? Do you have any clarifying questions? I'm just going to read it to you in the most monotone voice that I can to not sing it or orate it in any sort of weird way.
Okay.
And then you'll just tell me if it's our girl Tay or if it's Billy.
And Billy Shakespeare. Viewers on the live stream, feel free to help me out in the chat if you would like. Sure. I would probably need some help here.
And I also wanted to wager on some of this. But
of course you did. So wait a minute. You set the rules for the game that are very heavily against me, and then you say you want to add a wager.
Yeah.
Live on the air, so I can't say no.
A bit of a carrot or a stick.
Great.
So let's just say there's 6 points here.
Brendan Kearns, the Taylor fan says, I'm thinking of Love Story. So thank you, Brendan.
Interesting. I need to check one thing on the slide really quick while I'm talking here.
Do you want me to vamp? Is that what I'm supposed to be doing right
now? So there's
talking about.
Let's just call it 17 points.
17 points. Okay, it's a lot.
6 points here, 11 points on the other one.
The other what?
Part of this game.
There's a multi-part game. Oh my God, you really dove in. Okay.
So if you get at least 10 of the 17 correct, then I will handle all things dogs for the next 10 days.
10 days. Oh.
So that's the food. That's
the poop scooping.
Outside. Yeah, well, I was going to say it in a more
poop scooping.
Diplomatic way.
Poop scooping.
Yeah, brushing of the teeth.
Love that.
All of that stuff.
Great.
So I will maintain all of that.
Now I'm really going to try.
I wanted to make you actually really try.
All right, here we go.
Okay.
Let's do it.
So, number 1.
Also, I need your help, chat, please. I don't want to do all this.
Weather. So, to be fair, it's WHETHER, weather.
Okay.
And then weather, like outside.
Yep.
Whether weather be the frost or the violence of the dog days.
That's Billy Shakespeare.
No.
Damn it. That's a really bad start.
Evermore.
Evermore. Brendan Kearns, where were you? I should have waited a little longer for Brendan to tell me.
Yeah, you can pause if you want to.
Okay. So I'm 0 for 1.
Yeah.
I have 16 more opportunities.
Yes.
To get 10 points. Okay. Okay. Here we
go. This is the very ecstasy of love.
This is the very that's Billy Shakespeare.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. I got one. Oh, hold on. I need to do the hold on. Where is it? Oh, here we go. They love
you.
They love it.
Wow.
Oh, my mom says, what does Chanel get? Well, Chanel's not competing. I am.
Oh, yeah. No, then if you lose, you have to do all the dog stuff.
I do that anyway. So that's fine. Go ahead.
Well, no, but we have the charade of who's going to feed the dogs.
Okay, fair.
I kind of negotiate
that
you do it.
Yeah. There you go. It's a charade. The whole thing's a charade. All right. So I'm 1 for 2.
Walls of insincerity, shifting eyes, and vacancy.
Brendan? Help me, Brendan.
Or Gail. I imagine she might know some Shakespeare.
Oh, yeah. I don't think she knows Taylor that well, but all right. Read it to me again.
Walls of insincerity, shifting eyes, and vacancy.
That's Taylor.
Yeah.
Let's go. 2 for 3.
I kind of sang it too much.
Mom said Swift.
Oh, wow.
Go on.
That's from the song Enchanted.
I don't think you sang it at all.
Oh.
Walls of insincerity.
So when we first met, I listened to that song a lot because at the very beginning of our relationship.
Wait, were you saying I was insincere?
No, you have to listen to the song.
Okay.
It's about all
I'll
of the
trust you on
other
it.
stuff, and then she sees this person, and she's very enchanted to meet them.
Got it. All right, I'm 2 for 3. I'm off to a good start here. And there's 6 total in this portion of the game.
Yes.
Okay. So
You
one
and-
more and I've got half.
Yes. You and I are past our dancing days.
Taylor.
No.
Really? That sounds like a Taylor lyric. Oh, no.
I actually need to figure out where that one was from.
You and I are past our dancing days.
Yeah,
That
does
doesn't
anybody in the
sound like
chat-
Shakespeare at all.
Anybody in the chat know where that's from?
You and I
Oh,
are
it's
pa-
Capulet.
Okay.
He pulls a contemporary off the floor protesting that you and I are past our dancing days.
It doesn't that sounds too modern to be Shakespeare.
Well, obviously, this is something that a lot of people have to look up for.
It's the King James version of Capulet. It's more modern.
Romeo, take me somewhere we can be alone.
Oh, that's Taylor. I know that one. That's from Marry Me Juliet. Is that what it's called?
It's called Love Story.
Love Story. That's what Brendan was talking about.
How does it go?
Romeo, somewhere we can be alone. Yeah, I know that one. Roxanne says, if you do Old Taylor and you can mention Tim McGraw and know it's not the Bard. I don't get it. Is it a Taylor reference?
Well, yeah.
Okay. All right. And then let's just our moms in the chat. My mom said, should I help David or Chanel? Help your son, please. All right. So I am 3 for 5. Is that right?
Yes.
All right. So I got at least half of the first segment.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Give me
There's only one more in this part.
All right. Lay it on me.
And I'll stay, ... forgetting any other home but this.
Taylor. Damn.
It's from Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah.
The play.
Okay. All right. So 3 for 6 is not great.
It's not a good start.
Because I need 10 out of 16. So that means I've got 10 left to get 7 right. I can only get 3 more wrong. Eesh.
Yeah.
All right. What's the second segment here? It's not good.
I didn't really set you up for success with the other one, honestly. What are the people saying?
Roxanne says David knows a lot of Taylor. Bet he wins.
Oh, he does.
I do know a decent amount. And so, all right, that's a funny story, actually. So Chanel, in case you didn't know, loves Taylor Swift. When I discovered that, I had an internal, potentially external eye roll. I was just like,
fairly external.
Yeah, I was like, Taylor, like, she's just this basic pop artist, like, whatever. That did not deter Chanel from listening to Taylor, nor should it have. I was glad at that. But she listens to Taylor a lot, so I hear a lot of Taylor songs. And over time, I went from really disliking Taylor to being like, oh, she's pretty good. You know, like a new song will come out and Chanel waits up for the midnight release or whatever it is. And I'll wait up with her and I'll be like, I'll actually like listen and like kind of analyze. It was like, you know, I like what she did here, but I wish she did more like this.
Yeah, you actually just said that the other day. We were listening to her and you were like, oh, I really wish she would do more of this.
There was a song, I don't remember what it was, but just like the way that she really kind of belted, and I'd never heard her belt before. This is kind of cool. All right, we're getting way too deep into Taylor stuff here.
Totally.
Is the second segment also Taylor stuff?
Yeah.
Okay. Great.
We'll make it quick.
Like,
it's Valentine's Day.
It's yeah. She's yeah.
Are you gonna share my slide?
You want to share the slide? Oh, Jules in the chat says, just wanted to say, where is it? Just wanted to say thank you, David and Chanel, for spending your first Valentine's Day as a married couple with us on United Sessions. You two are the best. You're the best, Jules. We love you. Again, talking about love. We love Jules.
I know.
Jules is great.
She's a dear friend. That's what, love's all about.
I am sharing your slide now. Hold on. I want to switch the way that this is oriented. I think if I can. Hold on.
And this isn't going to do well for the...
Hold, please. Nope, that didn't work. How do I switch these two? There was a way to do that before. There it is. Okay, cool. So this is a visual medium.
It's not great for the audio part.
All right. Well, we're just gonna go with it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Figure it out in post.
Maybe I'll cut this part out of the.
So,
oh my.
Just to also.
These are Taylor album covers.
Yeah, but with no text.
Okay.
So we just want to see how many you can.
Oh no, I'm not gonna know these. Do I have to assign them to specific ones, or can I just name Taylor albums?
Well,
I'm not going to get 7 of these. I guarantee you I will not get 7 of these.
They're on the walls.
I don't know. All right. Okay, here's the thing.
Let's use this as a visual cue.
Can I name more than 10 just things that I think might be Taylor albums, and if it's 7 of them are right, then I win?
You can name 12 things.
12? It's a specific number. Okay. I know one is Nevermore or Evermore. Evermore. That's one. That might be all I know.
You know.
Yeah, I know
the
them. I just can't
pastelly
think
one.
of them. Evermore. Brendan, help me out. Dylan says, "Thanks, guys. Go United. Go United." I agree. Hi, Dylan. Oh my gosh. I know more than this. I know I do. There's one that's a year. 19. Oh man. 1989.
Yep.
Let's go. Okay.
So that was the one with the Polaroid and the birds.
Okay.
You know the pastel one on the lower.
Red.
That's one of them.
My
yes.
mom gave me that one in chat. Thanks, Mom. There's one that's just called Taylor Swift. Brandon Kearns gave me that one in chat. Thank you.
Our dogs, thank you.
Fearless.
Who said that?
Your mom in chat. I've got 5. All right, I need 2 more.
So that's the redacted one.
Oh no, I need 1 more. Don't
in
I? Just
United
need 1 more.
fashion. Okay, you have to get the pastel one.
The bottom right.
It's one of my favorite songs.
This is the bottom right one.
Second to the right, or it's like.
Yeah. Oh, Lover.
Yeah.
Let's go. Enjoy cleaning up the poop. Let's go. All right. Oh, Midnights. Jules said Midnights. Yep. I got another one. 75% of mine came from the chat. So thank you, everybody. Jules, Brendan, Roxanne, Gail.
That's a lesson to always be nice to people. I
am nice to people.
Because you just never know when you might need them for a phone a friend.
Gerard, I agree with you. This was very difficult. And without the chat, I would not have gone there. Look up.
Look up?
Is that another one?
No.
Oh, my mom said look up in the chat. She's trying to throw me off. Oh, okay. Well, enjoy cleaning the poops and brushing the teeth and feeding the dogs. This is what marriage is about.
Yeah, I guess it is.
But no. Just to kind of put a bow on everything here. Thank you, everybody, first of all, for hanging out with us on this Valentine's Day. Again, all different types of love in the world, whether that is a romantic love, a love for community, which we've talked a lot about and we talk a lot about on this podcast, a love of a hobby, art, sport, whatever that may be. So yeah, we want to celebrate all those things, all those kinds of love.
Finding love in things. I mean, that is really, that is the joy of life.
Amen.
You know,
love of friends, love of experiences. Yeah, we've got some really great people, many of them here in the chat, who we love very much.
I love every single one of them.
There you go, Gerard. But no, thank you everybody for hanging out with us on this Valentine's Day. Thank you for being part of this incredible love story that is New Mexico United.
It is a huge love story.
It is. Taylor should write a song about it. But thank you for being part of that. Thank you for hanging out with us here on United Sessions. We will be back next week, Lucas and I, with the next episode of United Sessions. Don't know who the guest will be yet. We'll figure that out in the meantime. Chanel, thank you.
Thank you, darling, for having me.
For being my co-host, my wonderful co-host. And we will be back again next week. But until then, Somos Unidos.
We are united.
Love you, Mom.